Thank you. Okay, welcome everybody. I would like to start the meeting, the public board meeting for Tuesday, May 26th at 4:01. And we acknowledge that we are meeting on the Hahuthli of the Tushat and Tupacheset First Nations, and acknowledge that we also have schools located on the Hahuthli of the Huayet and Tiloquit First Nations and the Yukuathot government. Introductions. I don't know if everybody knows everybody around the table. I think so. I think we're good. Okay. So I'll move on down to, and online. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah, I think good. And so I'll move down to number 2, approval of the agenda, please. Thank you.
Second, Brian.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on the meeting agenda today? No. Okay. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion is passed. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? I don't have any. No. Great. Nothing on mine. Okay. And can I please have adoption of the April 8th minutes? Thank you. Thank you. Any comments or questions on the minutes? Yes, trustee Savedi.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah. I'm always noticing details, and I think there's new programs. So the attendance, and we spoke about how the order should be, and the titles are sometimes mixed up. So I just see if we can adjust that. That'd be great. Nope, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor of the minutes? Thank you. Motion is passed. Okay. Announcements of the chair. I don't have any at the moment. So yeah. And moving on down to, yay! Number 6, student voice. Yay, from Alberni Elementary School students. That way, go for it.
So wanted to sort of preface this with a couple of things. One, we do a lot of talking about attendance, engagement in school. So I thought it was appropriate, given the topic, that we sort of speak to some of the things that we're proud about at our school. It's the amazing staff that does so much to create activities and opportunities for kids beyond the boundaries of the school day. So we are celebrating right now our first drama production in many, many years at Alberni Elementary. And part of why we can do this is because the board allowed for the complete redoing of our gym, including the stage, which we've sort of done our part by replacing the curtain. And Brittany and Jeff Bordell have done an amazing job. They've been working with the kids for about 4 months now on this production. We had our first show today at 1 o'clock. Next one's tomorrow. But the cast is coming. Here. So they should be all the way down. They're going to give you a little bit of the show.
Thank you.
What they can expect if they manage to find a way.
Thank you.
There's a few, there's not a ton, but we'll find a way.
So this is exciting.
Awesome, that's awesome. And so they're going to come, they're going to perform a little bit for you, and they are very happy to answer questions related to the wonders that is these after school opportunities that they've had the benefit of being.
Okay, thank you very much.
On their way down the stairs, I believe.
Yes.
I can totally.
No. You guys are kind of bad. No, this works. I see. Hello.
For Jane.
That's not better.
We're on it though, but.
Making sure we're in the right spot here. That's so great.
That's right. Grace, as we print the games, you'll pass them on to the newsies, and they'll spread them to every working kid in New York. After that, it's just the change coming once and for all. You make stuff front page, and if you read the news tomorrow, they'll see what we are. And sure as a star, we ain't come this far. It's the story we needed to write that's been kept out of sight but no more. In a few hours, by the time we'll be ready to fight us a war. It's time for it to stay. Talk about season of day. In the words of our union leader, Jack Kelly, we will work with you. We will even work for you, but we will be paid and treated as valuable members of your organization. Here we go. Jack, you do, Catherine. This is for kids shining shoes on the street, with no shoes on their feet every day. This is for kids when blood and shots from the boss and bombs slip away. Look at us all standing tall, clear in the brawl. Eyes of nice mercy, good life, and ready to rise to the fall. And for all the people out of the wall, take it down. And in the line, the sound of the sound, shut down. It doesn't kids in the sweat, the kids in the sweat, the in the air, things in the air, because I'm like this. One and four. Once and for once and for all. Once and for all. Yeah, change coming once and for all. You can be to all, to be to keep all. A new world is coming for you. And so it's till once and for all. You know, fine. Once and for all. Once and for all. Once and for all. Yes.
Yeah, she might go over here and they might want to ask some questions.
We want one of these every month.
Well, their director forgot they're saying usually have newspapers they're passing. They're all looking at me. Robot. You guys did great.
You guys, great. I think the meeting's over again.
Yeah. I'd rather go to the show.
Yeah. Okay, I'll pass it on to the trustees. Any comments or questions? Yes, trustee Craig and then Joseph.
Oh, I'd like to hear from any student or several. What is the best part of being on stage and singing?
Yeah.
First hand over here.
Me?
Yes.
So it's like the acting. Everyone's so good. Yes, the acting. Everyone's so good at acting.
And why is it the best part for you?
Because of the singing, I really love musicals and stuff, and it's my first time.
I am amazed by the singing. And why is it the best part for you?
I like seeing the audience and their reaction.
Yes. Any other trustee? I don't want to take trustee time. Any other questions?
Yeah, this is our wheelhouse. I love my Broadway. And so this was amazing. Very brave of you to come into this room of people that you didn't know. Has anybody seen Newsies?
Good.
Oh, you watched it?
A group of us went down to Victoria because they put it on at the Canadian College for the
Oh,
Performing Arts.
that's fantastic.
Then we've all seen the stage show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate your time.
Amazing.
Any other comments? Yeah, trustee Bray.
Thank you, Chair. I want to hear more from the students of why they like acting. So who,
I really like acting because it's like a fun way to like connect with people. And it's really cool that when we do all the dances, we're like all in sync and it's really good.
yeah, feels good at the end of the day. Yeah. Put you two in the back there. Go you first. Yeah, really, sure.
Making new friends, honestly.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
I like when we do the songs and we're like in sync. It's kind of.
Yeah, it feels cool. Hey? Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. I don't know how much.
Everyone's like singing all together. It's just mesmerizing for me. It's like I like doing the movie because I like learning new movies.
Yeah.
Yes. That's great. Sarah in the red shirt.
I just really like acting because it makes a lot of people happy and you can make new friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like making people happy and I really like doing it and like I really like that it Brittany. He's a cool good. We're not.
I like the acting part. I also like having him by my side usually, and one of my friends.
Yeah.
But he's not here. Yeah, and then also the food.
Yeah. I like making people laugh, which is ironic because I always play a bad guy.
I like making people laugh too. Yes.
I like the dance moves because when people are, because like in the song, everyone's going like that and it just sounds so cool on stage.
Yeah.
I like the adrenaline.
Yeah. That's good adrenaline. That's the rush you want to chase. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
Coordination, great.
Yeah. And you guys are like on par. That was
You
incredible.
should see them on stage and not in a boardroom.
Yeah. Like that. Just the passion. I can hear it in your voices. So thank you everyone for coming and sharing your play with us today. I echo Trustee Joseph and her comments of, this is why we're here. So this was great.
Thank you for the help.
Buy some keychains to.
Yeah.
Fine, but for a great cause. I'll buy one. I have a question. How long did it take you to practice and get this perfect? Because you guys were perfect. Yes.
I think we started January.
Oh, wow. So and how many times a week did you practice? That's a big commitment. Yeah. Wow. And it was lunchtime rehearsals?
Yeah.
And after school rehearsing after school? Yeah, go ahead.
Mostly it was after school, but then like those 2 days it was after school, but then we also did extra practice on lunch sometimes.
Fun. And that the commitment was good for you guys? It was,
Yeah.
you liked it?
Never sport parts.
Does she? And then how do you think you're gonna feel when it's over? Excited for the next one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you mean mastering, like getting this song? Or do you mean just like the whole play?
The whole play.
Oh, then yeah, like 4 months.
Yeah. Wow, that's a long time. You guys that's great commitment. Thank you very much for coming, you guys. It was brilliant. Really, you're all brilliant. Yeah. Trustee, great. One more quick question.
I was wondering if there's any, I have been following, well, I don't follow it. I'd actually like permission to follow this group that keeps popping up on my Facebook called the French Fries. And I was wondering if there was any French fries in the room today. French fries. Totally. And maybe for the teachers, is that a public group? Can I join? Or
Yes.
Is that weird?
Oh, yeah.
Because I get so much joy out of those videos.
Oh, no,
Can
yeah.
you share?
No, yeah, it's for like anyone, when he likes kids, they're like pretty
Awesome.
funny and awesome.
Yes, yes. I mean, kids are okay.
You never know. They're meaty. Yeah, we do, like, there are lots of really interesting stuff that we do at school, and this is just
Yeah.
like a piece of it, but it's a big piece. It's been a big piece.
Yes.
Big commitment.
You guys do incredible work. And your videos, it's usually around just before Christmas there with your staff.
Great.
Yes. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm see you tomorrow.
Yes, he does. For their.
Thank you very much, you guys, for bringing. See you tomorrow. Anybody else? Going to our. I think I got you.
They're for like.
Don't even see me.
Oh, I never have coins.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's gonna work like now, we know it's this, right?
That was the best.
Thank you, everyone. That was just amazing. And, yeah, sorry, we do have to keep the meeting going. I know that's, thank you very much. Maybe when the meetings get a little, we could all stand up and say cancel.
You don't want to say.
Gets the energy going, doesn't it? Okay, do any trustees or selected representatives have any statements? Yes, trustee Washington.
Thank you. We just came this morning from the EALC, Eighth Avenue Learning Center, where they unveiled the carving that the students have been working on with 3 different artists, primarily Gordon Dick, and it was incredible. After this here and then seeing that this morning, I am just in awe of our students. They are amazing. So I just wanted to share that. It was a great morning and they created something incredible.
Yes, thank you. Any other trustee statements? Yes, trustee Craig.
Thank you. I had trustee Bray and trustee Benetti and, our HR director, Ms. Apple, and of course, Dave Marr. I had a wonderful trip to Banff. We were received so well out there by the students. They were doing their drumming and their dancing. And then we had a tour of the school. As we were leaving, a group of students were leaving to go and investigate seaweed. And so they were quite excited about getting out onto the water and investigating seaweed. So I really appreciated being able to go that day. It was a beautiful trip down. And of course, Dave did a little bit of tour. So got to see some special spots as well. And thank you to the Alberni Valley Wrestling Group. That awards evening on April 29th was amazing. Just an amazing group of young people. And I did send all the vital signs copies electronically to staff and trustees. So they've got some good information that came out today and it'd be handy for us to use. So thank you very much for.
Sure. Yeah, trustee Craig. Yeah, trustees and then trustee Craig.
Thank you, Chair and Chair Board. I was lucky enough to attend the Regents Education Committee meeting. And I just want to commend our staff and our nations and the collaborative work that we do together, and that all the people that make that possible. It fills my bucket, and I'm so fortunate and blessed, and I'm so thankful. So I just wanted to acknowledge the positive work that's being done on all, with all people to the success of our Indigenous students, of all students. And I also wanted to comment that the Indigenous, non-instructional Indigenous Focus Day, I hope I got that right, was fabulous too. I always enjoy attending that, and the vulnerability and candidness of this people that presented and spoke is just something that I would aspire to. So I just want to again thank all those people and for attending and for participating. Trustee Bray.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to give a shout out to Stuart and Jess Aldridge, I believe is how you say their name. They're the local owners of the local McDonald's, and I was very proud to represent McHappy Day and volunteer my time. And so, yeah, I wanted to thank Kristen for the collaboration. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Stuart and Jess for the donation to our district, because we have hungry students, so it's very much appreciated. And then I was lucky and honored to be on the hiring committee for the new superintendent. And I just wanted to give a shout out to our partners, community partners, our nations, our selected representatives, and the rest of the board. It was a great experience. It was a long day, but I'm just very proud of how everyone came together and obviously the outcome of that process. So thank you everyone for the experience.
Thank you, Trustee Bray. Any other comments or questions, selected representatives? Oh, sorry, Trustee Ransom.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Mr. Maher and fellow travelers to the Banff Community School last week. It was a very enjoyable trip, and it was nice to stop at Pachina Beach for a few moments and some fresh air. And in light of it being a very busy month, the month of June upcoming, I just wondered if I could make a request to the chair superintendent to have a June calendar event sent out to trustees so we don't miss any activities.
Yes.
It's a very
I feel-
jam-packed month.
Yes, it is a very jam-packed month, and I will go through my emails, see what I have missed, so I apologize. But yes, I think that's a great idea, and I can help with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ransom. Okay, is there any other comments or questions or statements? Okay. Moving on down, there's no petitions, delegations, or presentations. So and then moving on to 9.1. I would like to just superintendent recruitment update. So it is with great pleasure that I announce the appointment of Jasleen Atwell as the new superintendent of the Pacific Rim School District effective September 1st, 2026. This was a decision that the Board of Education approached with care and deep respect for the exceptional talent within our own district. We were honored by the caliber of candidates considered, and we are thankful to all those who shared their passion for the district and its students throughout the entire process. I would also like to extend my thanks to Scott Benwell and Paula Mason for the outstanding planning and execution of the whole recruitment process. I am very proud of this board for showing up with professionalism, compassion, and our commitment to the process. Thank you very much, and join me in congratulating Jasleen. Is there any comments or questions? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I would just also like to echo the comments of Trustee Zanetti. The process was fantastic, and I do really appreciate the candid comments and the openness with which everyone shared those comments. In the end, it was a very inspirational day for me for that reason and that reason alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No. Okay. Well, we are looking forward to the work we do together, Jasleen. Me too. Okay, moving on down to emergent issues. This just got added today. So 10.1, McQuina Elementary School, Director of Operations, Taylor.
Thank you. Yeah, so I wanted to bring this to the attention of the board of an emergent issue happening at McQuina. There's a potential hazard out there of an arson in the community. So there's been To my knowledge, at least 4 incidents of arson on the McQuina property, and then at least 1 other incident at the new childcare center that's on that same property. So last weekend, there was 2 weekends ago, a dumpster fire, and then just on Sunday, there was another fire under the enclosure. So what I would like to propose is applying for an emergent fund from the Ministry of Education or Ministry of Infrastructure for an electrical upgrade at McQuina to accommodate exterior cameras and exterior lighting to protect the property. Currently, RCMP have not been able to have enough evidence to really look into this, although we have been reporting them. Some exterior cameras would definitely help in that situation. So I'm proposing an emergent request for $160,000 to do a school enhancement program, electrical upgrade at McQuina Elementary.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yeah, trustee Bray, trustee Craig, and then trustee Washington.
I'd like to make a motion. Thank you, Chair. I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Education direct staff through the superintendent to request an emergent school enhancement program funded project from the Ministry of Infrastructure to upgrade the electrical and network infrastructure at McQuina Elementary for $160,000.
Second.
Second by trustee Craig. Thank you very much. Comments or questions? You have a question?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead. Edna.
thank you. Through to Director Taylor. Will this now be enough cameras so that we can potentially catch this individual?
Yeah, so looking at the building layout at McQuina, it's quite unique with L shapes and coves. So it's about 25 exterior cameras. And then it would be some additional fencing and barricading under the library overhang to prevent people from even getting into that area. So I do believe it would be adequate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Bray.
Thank you, Chair, through you to the board. It's my unprofessional opinion that we do have an arson loose in our community, and I'm really concerned for the safety of our students and staff and our actual school facility at McQuina. And I think it's too many close calls for us to not move forward with supporting this motion and doing everything that we can to help out McQuina Elementary, because I have real big concerns for safety of staff and students and our building.
Great. Yes, trustee Craig.
Thank you, Chair. To Mr. Taylor, have you had any conversations with the daycare management at all? Have they done anything themselves?
So there was a fire during construction of that childcare facility in the underneath crawl space. So all crawl space hatches have been locked, and now that there's proper fencing and stuff, but including them in our recent conversations about the school facility, no, not so much.
Thank you.
I just have a question for you, Alex. Has there been any damage to the school? And if so, has there been like a monetary a value, I guess, or have we had to have any expenses towards it?
2 weekends ago, when the dumpster was on fire, that the whole dumpster we'll have to pay a deposit for that. I don't have that number yet. We haven't received the invoice from the Waste Connections.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's been very minimal staff wages to go remove soot and spray down the area. So our insurance deductible is $10,000, and it's far less than that at this point.
Great, thank you very much. Trustee Zannetti and then Ransom.
Thank you, the Chair, to Director Taylor. Do we have extra security, or is that even an option for us to secure to keep it, to make, to reduce the likelihood of this happening again?
Currently, we hire Footprint Security on a alarm basis, or it was Footprints, now it's Paladin. So when an intrusion event happens, they respond. They do have static patrol options, but they're quite costly.
Yep, go ahead.
Chair, through you to Director Taylor. So is the childcare center adequately protected with cameras and fencing, et cetera?
Childcare center has better lighting, exterior lighting, I would say, than the current McQuina school, and they have fencing around, and they don't have as many loitering areas, but they do not have exterior cameras.
Well, if I could, did the childcare management, do they have any concerns that they've expressed to you directly, or are they aware of the situation?
They haven't expressed any concerns, no.
Thank you very much. There's no further comments or questions. I will call to question.
All those in favor?
Motion is passed. Thank you very much.
Much, Alec. Sorry, that's carried. Okay. Moving down to 11.1 annual budget for the 2026-27 update with Secretary Treasurer.
Great, thanks very much. Not here today to adopt the budget, but did want to provide you guys a little bit of an update of what we've been up to and where we are headed with this. Yes, please. Share for me. Be my banner. Okay. All right. Next slide, please. So as we've been building the budget, obviously a team sport, as all of you know, but we really are using the strategic focus areas in order to guide our decisions and where we focus the money and the funding. So just by way of reminder, the 5 focus areas are the Indigenous learner success and relationship with First Nations, student achievement, mental health and social emotional well-being, safe, welcoming and modern learning environments, and environmental stewardship and global citizenship. So really continuing to circle back on those whenever we're trying to make decisions as to our direction forward. Next slide, please. The reality is that we do have declining enrollment. So we have 120 less students anticipated coming through our doors next year as we do, which is as we do right now. So that is a 3% decline. I've just put in some graphs to kind of show you where that is in the different areas. So the next slide shows the trend. So this is the previous 10 years plus the projected 3. But as you see, the projection isn't just to decline in 2026-7, but to continue declining through the next 2 years based on a number of different sources of data is how these numbers are come up with. In the next slide, you will see in terms of students with disabilities and diverse abilities, again, your level 2 and 3 have slight declines occurring. Your level 1s are staying fairly static, but all impact how we build budget. And the next slide is the Indigenous enrollment. So a lot flatter or less decline in this area, which is interesting over time, actually consistently fairly static since 2016-17. And next slide. So going back to why that matters, our grant from the ministry is built on a per student FTE. So we're earning $9,015 per student. The interesting thing about the way they've built this year is this is actually not changed from the previous year. There has been increases approved for both the teacher agreement as well as the QP agreement. But what the province has done has separated those out because they happened kind of after they developed the model. So these numbers are kind of based on the previous 2025-6 numbers, and then they'll give us separate funding for that. And we can present the budget in 2 ways. We can present it as if those increases don't exist, and we just note that in the presentation, or we can anticipate what money they're going to give us for those wage increases and build it off those. So we're hoping to know here in the next couple of weeks what we're getting for in terms of funding. But then there's obviously some unique student funding that comes through and unique district. So we are a small community or rural factor in a few of our areas. And then at the bottom, it speaks to funding protection, which is a reality that we are in here in school districts. So what does that mean for our school district? If we go to the next slide, it talks about what our impact is. I think you guys have these in your package and not just attempting to read.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the impact is that we are getting $1 million less in this coming year if all things remain the same in comparison to last year. So the funding for those collective agreements will be provided separately. But there are two areas that I want to draw your attention to on the next slide, which is that of that $1 million decline, there's also an additional 1.1 million. That is what they call funding for funding protection. So we have 362,000 for our enrollment decline and $746,000 in funding protection. So this is like a short-term Band-Aid to help us adjust as that declining enrollment exists. It happens whenever you have enrollment decline of greater than 1.5%. What it means is that if we have more students walk through the door in September, we will actually not be getting any increased funding unless we get to 121 students. That's the only time our money is going to start to change, because they basically are paying us for 120 students that we don't think are going to be there. And then the declining enrollment is expected to continue. So 70 FTEs going into 27, 28, and 98 the following year. Of course, projections, so it's all subject to changes, but that is kind of the reality we are building the budget at this time. Next slide, please. So it does kind of show like the impact on the general operating fund is really nothing this year. There's a little bit more in that learning improvement fund and a small amount more in the Feeding Futures fund. The part that staff have really been taking a time to make sure that we are maximizing is the Classroom Enhancement Fund on the next slide. So this is, they've set our preliminary at 5.7 million. However, we actually get to make a submission to request this money. And it is a big area of discussion that has happened here and continues to be discussed. So we want to make sure we're fully utilizing the access to this funding to implement class size and composition language from the collective agreement. So in 2025-6, we submitted a CEF, Classroom Enhancement Fund, request for 41.6 teachers. Right now, our proposal is 51.7 teachers. So an extra 10 teachers off of the CEF fund, which is approximately $1 million. So trying to transfer things out of that general operating fund whenever we can, and finding some other targeted money that we can utilize to help support all the things in the budget. Next slide. So I'm definitely not as uplifting as the Newsies were earlier. But the fiscal reality, just to make sure we paint the picture, is fewer students is less operating revenue. 98% of our revenue comes from that operating grant, whether there's a bunch of different sections of the operating grant that comes from that operating grant. Salaries and benefits comprise more than 90% of the operating, so we don't have a lot of wiggle room. There is escalating costs related to extended health budget benefits, which are not funded. Cybersecurity becomes a risk, increasing risk all the time. So we might need to make some proactive investment to mitigate those. We have increased utility, fuel, maintenance, insurance costs due to inflation, which of course is not reflected in how they are funding this time. It's going to result in reduced support staff hours overall. And then I guess the other concerning aspect is little to no surplus available to absorb these unexpected expenses. Past practice has really relied on that surplus to balance the budget, and we don't really have that safety net at this time, or at least we're building the budget off the assumption that we don't. We don't have finalized numbers yet, but we're pretty sure it's going to be little to no surplus moving forward. So making conservative planning assumptions, probably more conservative planning assumptions than we would make if we had a bit of a surplus to kind of cushion us, but just really trying to keep that in mind. And next slide. In terms of consideration and risks, as I mentioned, that funding protection is a short-term safety net. So as much as right now my focus as being new is to get that 26, 27 preliminary, we really got to get moving on a little bit longer term planning with those projections in mind to make sure that we are trying to stay ahead of that impact. Really want to increase the transparency through the website to the public, to you as trustees, to staff, to everyone, to make sure that We are all on board with the direction we are heading, so that's definitely a priority for myself and to continue that financial stewardship. Really considering it's essential to rebuild that operating surplus because we don't think this is a one-time blip. So trying to navigate keeping as many resources in the classroom and costs as much as we can. However, we want to get that surplus to have some wiggle room for us and continuing to work in partnership at all levels across the school district. So although I didn't bring you a budget today, I did want to provide you that update. And in terms of next steps on the next slide, continuing to have ongoing discussions with senior leadership, like uncovering every rock, trying to figure out absolutely everything that's here, all the options. There's no idea that's a bad idea at this point. So we're still kind of working through that. Continuing to make presentations of these draft budgets to the presidents of the ADTU and CUPE, principals and vice principals. We've had consultations with the Indigenous Education Council, but then hoping to get something ready for board consideration here in advance of that June meeting so that we have time for everyone to kind of see what that final is before we actually have to sit down to adopt the bylaw. And so that is my very not so shiny update for you today. And I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Okay, comments or questions from the board? Yes, that's great.
Thank you, Chair. It's a great document. I love a good handout. I remember receiving a newsletter from a superintendent in the room here. It's comparable. Thank you very much for the effort put into that. And thank you to Peter and James just for supporting Terry through the transition and everybody else who has supported. We're really excited to have you on board.
Thank you. See, Craig.
Thank you. I don't know if you want any specific questions. Looking back to the page, I don't know if it hasn't got a number. It says targeted or special purpose funds. And if you look down to student transportation fund, 71,717. That's been 71,717 for over 12 years. Is there any indication that what our actual costs are, or do we have an avenue to really go back to the ministry and explain? They took a whole bunch of money away from us about 12 years ago. So nothing has changed in that regard.
Yeah. Yes, we are really uncovering like the actual costs of things right now and making a plan, and definitely going to be a discussion moving forward. I do think there's going to be an advocacy role for it moving forward. I do know that I'm already seeing from other districts that they're getting creative of like linking into public transit systems where possible. Places are talking about charging students for transportation. So definitely going to be looking at all of those different approaches, but yeah, aware that that number has not changed. And so those funds to support that transportation aspect then come out of that general operating amount. So yeah, I do have a call with ACT on Thursday as well, like a virtual meeting about it provincially. So
thank you so much, Ms. Fawn.
Yeah.
Yes, trustees and Eddie.
Thank you for the chair to Secretary Treasurer Fong. When we are looking at the funding protection and enrollment decline, it speaks about if there's been a decline greater than 1.5% for the funding and the enrollment is 1%. So I'm just looking at the graph. Are we going to hit those? Do you think we are going to hit the 1.5 or 1% less? Like in 2027, 28, like, are we going to still be able to count on some protection money?
We can, but it then goes down again by that, right? Yeah, but there's like 23 school districts, I think, in the province that are in funding protection. We're definitely not the only ones, so definitely going to be connecting with them as well to see what they're doing. But yes, at this point, that 70 and 98 both will meet that 1.5% decline again.
Great. Thank you, Chair, through you to Secretary Treasurer Fong. That student transportation fund that Pam was just asking about, does that include all student transportation? I'm thinking of water transportation on the coast, potentially in Bathfield.
Pass that to you.
This through the chair, the 71,000 does not cover our transportation costs.
I know.
Even close.
Yeah.
But is there another fund?
There's some funding we get through BCT for extracurricular funds that Tom was potentially speak to, but as far as our busing costs, it's far more than $71,000.
And then adding the water taxi use on top of that. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah. I have a couple questions. So with the funding protection, do we keep it separate in the budget or do we just add it to the pot and we kind of spend it when, or is it like do we keep it kind of safeguarded?
It's added to the budget, but I know that discussions with superintendent, like we're really trying to build that reserve fund up, and in our mind, we're hoping to use the majority of that money to build that surplus moving forward.
Yeah, okay.
That's becoming not a reality. So I don't think we're going to get to that point, but we're definitely trying to tie that surplus that we're holding to that, because we do know it's a right sizing amount.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I loved your no idea, bad idea. And yeah, did you notice that you said that you were reaching out to other districts? And that was my other question, was that with other districts, many other districts with declining enrollment, high utility costs, all these expected costs, have you reached out and contacted them and seen what they're doing as well?
Yeah, so even before I got here, Jackie was reaching out to a lot of them. So we do kind of have a list of things. I would say the one that is jumping out consistently is the transportation aspect, and really like looking at your bus routes. They've already kind of done a bunch of that. That was why the West Coast got transferred to us owning the buses. But that is definitely one area where a lot of the districts are kind of they're reevaluating their walk to school distances and all that sort of thing, and whether you want to charge. So I think there's some work to be done during the 26-7 year to look at 27, 28. But yeah, a lot of talk about making sure your ratios are all aligned and that sort of thing. But yeah, continuing to try to build those networks, and what Jackie's already done, making sure that we're getting those introductions passed along to me. So we do that.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to add to that a number of districts have already passed their preliminary budgets, and those are public. So Jackie has done a look at other districts and what they're doing with their preliminary budgets, how they're managing the CEF funds, how they're managing the salary increases. To just make sure that we're not missing something.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, Trustee Ransom.
Thank you, Chair, through you to Secretary Treasurer Fong. Just a question about on page 25 of 168, talking about fiscal reality, the escalating costs of extended health benefits, which are not funded. Could you please clarify that?
We're just actually digging through that right now. So we just got the new amounts coming out, and as a collective, off the top of my head, I feel like the extended health is going up about 20%. That's one line. Like there's dental, and it's different for each class of employee. But we will bring something more detailed either in the adoption of the budget or to that next June meeting, because it is an area again that I think there's. We're in the provincial benefits program, and so I think there's room for advocacy related to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trustee Washington.
Sorry, thank you, Chair, through to ST Fong. Make sure I ask this right. And because I'm assuming, and we know what happens when you assume, because the increased costs for teachers is not in this budget, I'm assuming, sorry, the funds are not in the budget. I'm assuming the costs are actually not in the budget as well.
Agreed.
So it's an in and out.
Yeah. So the direction we've been provided is we have two options. We actually can build it without, and then we just have to indicate when we submit it that we've built it without. Jackie and I would prefer to build it in, and we do think that we're going to be getting notice here. They say June, so we don't know if June, that means June 1st or June 30th, but they say in June we will be told what our funding amount is. So we're hoping that we get that, because we can make an assumption and put what we assume the funding is in there, and just make sure that we're clear that that's our assumption in doing it. But we would really like to know that number, because it's based off of the average teacher salary, and so we can win or we can lose. So we would like to know what that impact is on the district.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Great. Okay, moving on down to 11.2, the 2026-27 board governance budget. Secretary Treasurer Fong.
Great, thank you. So the one area that we haven't discussed is with you guys in terms of the school district governance budget. So that is many components of it. Just 1 second. We have everything from your trustee election to onboarding to your professional development, your remuneration, employer benefits, which is just limited to your CPP and your EHT, not like extended health and those costs. But we have tried to outline all of the different components. I will note that the cell phone stipend on page 70 is actually going to be $240 because it's going down to $20 a month here for this next fiscal year, as we have negotiated a better price for the district. So passing that along in the stipends as well. And yeah, that election cost of $72,000 is built into this as well. So happy to, the one thing I would like to clarify is that professional development is listed at 36,000 and 4,000 times 7 is not 36, but also included in that professional development code. Sorry, it was a long week last week.
Yeah,
You're trying to get it. But there's a $4,000 general pot, and then the chair gets an additional PD amount of $2,000. The vice chair gets an additional amount of $1,000, and the West Coast trustee gets an additional amount of $1,000. So that adds up to your 36. So yes, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Yes, trustee Rexon.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question to you, to Secretary Treasurer Vaughn. In regard to the onboarding post approach 2026, so that would be to bring in new trustees and orient them to how the district works, et cetera. And so what exactly does that look like based on the number of trustees that are elected? New trustees, so to speak.
Yeah, so my understanding, and I will let superintendent correct me, but like might bring someone in to talk about governance, the role of the trustees. Again, it's a marker. It depends on what we want to do based on how many trustees are. But really like getting that role of the trustee and all the onboarding of what is going on in the district. A lot of it would be in-house in terms of like the different departments presenting what they do and the components and how all the committees work. But there is usually some external school board professionals, I guess, brought in to kind of walk through the governance aspect of it.
Thank you. Yeah. Trustee Brand.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Education approve the planning assumptions, including a total of $282,149 for the school district governance budget for inclusion in the 26-27 annual budget bylaw to be presented for the board's consideration at the June 2026 public.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Yes, trustee Craig.
Just for clarification, if we go to the first page, Treasurer, you've got a table there in regards to the 3% increase for trustee remuneration. And so that's based on what was negotiated for the staff and QP members for this next year. But I just want to ask, is there a way to separate this out and vote for your suggested others and the trustee remuneration be separated out of your motion?
Yes, just trying to think of the order. Yes, I think if we want to finish this motion, you're right. We have built it in. That is what your AP says, but you do have the ability to vote it down. But if you do it after this motion, because it's not in a bylaw, I would just then say and reduce the amount of the budget to be brought forward.
So I would.
Go ahead, keep going and then yeah.
I just would like a discussion from trustees because I don't agree with the 3% increase for trustees. We are not funded for this money. We take it out of operation funds, whereas the other staff members' increases are funded through the government. So this is definitely a takeaway from our cash flow.
Go ahead.
Just to clarify, the Administrative procedure states that trustee remuneration will be subject to yearly increases, which is in line with the unionized staff in the district on July 1st of each year. Trustees will have the ability to vote and turn down the increase at a board meeting prior to July 1st of each year.
Okay. Great.
So what my recommendation is that trustees ask the chair to place that on the next board. Yeah, because that's where you'd have to vote it down.
Question for Ms.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we will bring this forward again at the next public meeting.
I would suggest that we order the public board meeting such that this just lands before the budget.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Call the question for the motion on the table. Sorry, it took me a while to get that out. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Hey, thank you very much for that, Terry. Great job. Great job. Okay, moving on down. Woohoo, Affleck. You're almost a full page. 11.3, 2027-28 major capital plan submission. Director of Operations Taylor, and I love it that you just shot for the stars here. So
Thank
go
you.
for it.
So June 30th is our deadline to apply for major capital funding. In the background, I gave some a little bit of info on how we can apply and what the funding streams are. So each funding stream, when you apply, you can rank in your priority. So for the seismic mitigation program, I'm recommending we apply for Howitt, 8th Avenue, Wickaninnish, Dunn, Wood, in that sequence, mainly because Howitt and 8th Avenue still have blocks of their school that are high seismic risk. So the Ministry of Infrastructure will prioritize schools that have a high seismic risk rating. And then following that would be the school expansion program. So the Ministry of Infrastructure over the years has encouraged schools to apply for modular classroom expansions. They're a lot more efficient and cost effective. So those are initiatives that the capital branch is most likely to approve. So due to our capacity issues at ADSS, we're prioritizing ADSS and then Wickaninnish modular expansion. To keep the projects alive, we're also including the conventional expansion at ADSS and at Wickaninnish, just at a lower priority. And then although we do not expect to get this funding, technically it does apply because we're a rural school district. So applying for staff accommodations in Ucluelet under the rural district program, we most likely will not get funded for this, but it keeps it on the radar, which Major Capital Branch has suggested we keep this on our application.
Alex. So there's a bunch of motions here, and if we want, we could just keep going down one by one if we want to go do that. Sherilyn, do you want to start us off?
Love to.
Okay, go for it.
I would just like to mention that Assistant Superintendent Messenger, I think, still holds the record for the largest information package.
That's true.
Director Taylor, most motions on the agenda. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Education direct staff through the superintendent to apply to the 27-28 major capital funding program for a seismic upgrade to John Howard Elementary School for 25 million. And that this project be added, and that this project be at no additional cost to the board other than that provided through this targeted funding.
Thank you. Second by Trustee Craig. Any comments or questions? All those in favor? It is passed. Thank you. Trustee Craig, would you like to do the second one?
Thank you. So that the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply to the 2027-2028 major capital funding program for seismic upgrade to 8th Avenue Learning Center for $31 million, and that this project be at no additional cost to the board other than that provided through this targeted funding.
Joseph. Second by Joseph. Comments or questions? All those in favor? Thank you. Larry, would you like to do the third?
Yes, that the Board of Education direct staff through the superintendent to apply to the 2027-2028 major capital funding program for a seismic upgrade to Wickininnish Community School for 20 million. And that this project be at no additional cost to the board, other than that provided in targeted funding.
Second, Greg. Second, Greg. All those in favor? You. Helen, would you like to read the report?
Sure. That the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply to the 2027-2028 major capital funding program for a seismic upgrade to Eric J. Dunn Elementary School for $20 million, and that this project be at no additional cost to the board other than that provided through this targeted funding.
Second, Craig. Second by Craig. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Janice, would you like to read six? Oh, again.
It's always at the end, so it's right
Time.
That's where you do.
That the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply for the 2027-2028 major capital fund program for a seismic upgrade to Wood Elementary School for 15 million. And that this project be at no additional cost to the board other than to provide through this targeted.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second, Bray.
Second, Bray. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Steve Washington, the sixth, please.
That the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply to the 2027-2028 major capital funding program for a modular expansion project at Wickininnish Community School for $15 million, and that this project be at no additional cost to the board other than that provided through this targeted thing.
Thanks, Joseph. Second by Joseph. All those in favor? Very much. Sherilyn, back to you.
Okay, let me find where we're at. My eyes are playing tricks on me.
Number 7.
EDSS, thank you. That the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply to the 27-28 major capital funding program for a conventional expansion project at
Oh, no, sorry, one above that.
That the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply to the 27-28 major capital funding program for a modular expansion project at Alberni District Secondary School for 15 million, and that this project be at no additional cost to the board other than that provided through this targeted funding.
Second, Craig. Second by Craig. All those in favor? Thank you. Motion is passed. Trustee Craig, would you like to read the next one?
Thank you, Chair. That the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply to the 2027-2028 major capital funding program for a conventional expansion project at Wickininnish Community School for $25 million, and that this project be at no additional cost to the board other than that provided through this targeted funding.
Second, Ransom.
Second, Ransom. Thank you very much. All those in favor? Awesome. Thank you. Larry, would you like to read the next one?
Yes. That the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply to the 2027-2028 major capital funding program for a conventional expansion project at Alberni District Secondary School for $30 million. And this project be at no additional cost to the board other than that provided through this targeted funding.
Second, Joseph. Second by Joseph. All those in favor? You.
Shoot for the moon.
And Helen, would you like to read the last one?
Sure. That the Board of Education directs staff through the superintendent to apply to the 2027-2028 major capital funding program for a new staff accommodation through the Rural District Program in the municipality of Uqumit for $5.5 million, and that this project be at no additional cost to the board other than that provided through this targeted funding.
Second, Craig. Second by Craig. All those in favor? Okay, does anybody want to ask for any other money? We're on a roll.
Anybody added this up?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Okay, thank you for all that work, Alex. That's a lot of submissions and paperwork and all that. So thank you for all that work. That's a lot. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we got it all? One know, right?
You never know.
You never know. Okay. Moving on down to 11.4, the 2026-27 annual board and committee meeting schedule. Manager of Corporate Services, Mason.
Thank you. Through the chair, sorry, fly around or something.
You know, that's like the bell, right? Ding, 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 ding. No, not here.
So I included a brief report explaining my rationale for presenting the meeting schedule for public in-camera and committee meetings for the upcoming school year, and noted the different changes and considerations for those changes in that report. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. And I would like to thank you, Manager Mason, for your rationale for those changes and the support to our new Secretary Treasurer. I think that's amazing. So thank you for those considerations. Any comments or questions from the board regarding this? Trustee Bray.
Thank you, Chair, through you to the board. I like this. I know that we've changed our meeting structure last year, something. I just feel like I feel like we need more. I need more. So I like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Yes, Trustee Zanetti.
Thank you. On the info sheet, it asks about guidance from the board on December schedule and
yes,
right, not really. So I just
yeah.
So I'll give my input then.
Yeah, please.
So in regards to the December, I think the first option, holding an early in-camera board meeting and then followed by public is good. I don't think we should meetings. I think we need to have that in camera.
Yeah.
So yes, sorry, I was thinking the info sheet and the calendar schedule are slightly different, but if I understood correctly, it is to keep the in-camera and reduce by one public meeting, right? Because on the sheet, it says public meeting, right? It is 2 in-cameras. Okay. So yeah, I would do the in-camera and the public. I wouldn't want to lose the public. That's where I was supposed to go with that. So I got confused.
I agree with you. I would go with the in-camera. Oh, would you like to take a vote?
Well, should I make a motion to do that, or it was just input that was requested? So
I don't think so. But, yes, Trustee, Manager Mason.
feedback was requested.
Yeah, it is just feedback. But then the final motion that's recommended includes whatever the decision is. So I was just suggesting that if everybody wants to, among the group, decide what's best for the December date, we can then I'll know your preferred
Sure.
December schedule.
Yeah, sure. We'll do Trustee Bray, Trustee Craig, and Trustee Joseph.
Thank you, Chair, through you to board. I agree with Trustee Zanetti. I wouldn't want to lose that public board meeting. I think it's really important. So yeah,
okay.
I like that structure.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. And I think that is the way to go.
Okay.
Definitely public and in camera. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Joseph?
I agree too. I like the public and in camera. 3 p.m. is tight for me to get here, but I will probably be sneaking in late.
No problem. Okay, so unless I hear any opposed to the December decision, we will go with the in-camera and then the public. Thank you very much. If someone would like to make a motion. Yes, Trustee Washington.
That the Board of Education approve the proposed 2026-27 board and committee meeting schedule, including the board's preferred December 2026 meeting structure as presented.
All those in favor? Thank you. Motion is passed. And yeah, be interesting to see who's around the table then. Hopefully all your smiling faces. Oh, except for Larry. We'll miss you, Larry.
I'll miss you too.
Oh, I was paying for that, actually. I was like. Grudgingly. Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Okay. And then, oh yeah, let's do this. We'll go to 11.5, suspension of delegations during election period. Manager of Corporate Services, Mason.
This was actually brought forward, Trustee Craig brought it forward, I believe, following the recent BCSTA AGM, where the topic came up, basically to recommending that boards suspend periods of the public meetings just through the nomination period through until election day in an election year. As the report says, it's really for the purpose of ensuring that there are no forums that are created for people to hold platform or have any kind of partisan promotion, let's say, for lack of a better word, sorry.
Yeah.
And so I also then had looked up if any other school districts have done this. And I did see one that actually sought legal advice on it as well. And so I went with the style of motion that I brought forward as the recommended motion is one that has had a legal review and that it's worded properly. So it's actually asking the board to consider suspension of the specific sections of our policy that we would usually follow.
Thank you, Manager Mason, and thank you for bringing that forward, Trustee Craig.
I would like to make a motion.
Yeah, go for it.
This came at a workshop session during the AGM, hosted by parliamentarian Lisa Thorne, and she highly recommended that boards consider this around the province. And at my table, there have to be Representative Victoria Chung from Vancouver and Kathleen Carpet from Kamloops. So they're both also, those two boards are also investigating this as we speak. So it will be a number of boards, I think, that were in attendance, plus making sure that the process through to the election is fair. So it will only really affect a few weeks, not very long, few days basically, and one meeting. So I would like to make the recommendation. There's two pieces to it. So first one is that the Board of Education suspend the application of sections 1.3 bracket 1 and 1.3 bracket 17 of the board procedure, administrative procedure commencing the first day of the nomination period, September 1st, 2026, and continuing until general voting day, October 17th, 2026, for the 2026 school trustee elections in School District 70 Pacific Rim. During this time, the board will not hold petitions, presentations, delegations, or audience question periods during regular public meetings of the board. During this period, the board will accept written requests and inquiries from the public submitted to the Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you. Seconder, please.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Trustee Gray. Any comments or questions? Yes, Trustee.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, just a question about the process and a concern. The audience question period also allows time for questions from partner staff groups, and I'm concerned that those groups may not be able to ask questions in a timely fashion.
Right.
And that doesn't speak to transparency. So I have some concerns about that. I just don't know if it's been discussed. That point's been discussed, but transparency is important, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe we can find a way if they have a question at the topic, they could email us after, or, oh yes, Trustee Mason. House.
Manager Mason.
So the latter part of the motion that's on the table says that during this period, the board will accept written questions and inquiries from the public submitted to the Secretary Treasurer. In regards to your question, Trustee Ransom, about union partners being able to as well, as union partners would receive the agenda on the Friday prior to the meeting. That would also give time to be able to send an email to the Secretary Treasurer and ask any questions that might come up in that agenda. So it's really essential that that there is no shutdown of availability for the public to ask questions or to shut down transparency. It's just a different method of doing it. So that avenue still remains open.
Thank you for that explanation.
Trustee Zanetti and then Trustee Gray.
Thank you for the chair of the board. I wasn't at the BCSD AGM and so I am struggling to understand the rationale to actually do this because I agree with Trustee Ransom. I think this does impinge on transparency and public access because we are public servants. And at any time limiting that does not sit well with me. So if I could get maybe more information about the examples. I mean, I've read the document, I have some idea, but what have we had problems in the past where during election periods, people are either public or others are trying to push their own agenda? Does anyone have examples I could share?
Thank you. Trustee Craig, do you have
I don't have anything specific that I can direct you to, other than I do know that some boards have had some issues around delegations coming and making demands of the board before the election and causing disruption in their board meetings. And also a discussion about topics that really trustees at that point are really only dealing with the matters at their particular district. They are still working as trustees. So it does make a difficult response from trustees to respond to questions that may project further. So that was one of the comments that Lisa Sworn had made around this. There have been issues in other districts. We haven't necessarily had at election time in my remembrance.
Yeah, follow up there.
And then trustee Brandon Ransom.
Thank you. So, thank you for that. I'm still not in favor of this. I think that there are, the delegates have to request, I think, 2 weeks or a month early to even make a presentation, and that can be denied. So we can, monitor, control that, I think. And then as well, during a meeting, the chair has the ability to redirect the audience questions and what have you. So I do not, I will not support this motion.
Thank you, trustee Zerby. Trustee Brandon Ransom.
Thank you, Chair. I'm a little bit on the fence with this as well. I'm struggling a bit. I do agree with Trustee Zanetti. I think that I would like to look to Superintendent Claver to see if there is, what's the superintendent's world? You guys talk about this or I don't know. I just want to hear your opinion. I'm not putting you on the spot.
Here, it really came through BCSTA.
Yeah.
It doesn't, superintendents aren't really involved in political processes. I think some districts where sometimes as some of these trustees have been through school closures around the table, and so that's the forum for people to voice opinions about decisions, sway decisions. We're not in that position, but that is one of the reasons is to try to limit some political posturing if there is something going on in the district.
Thank you, Superintendent Claver. Trustee Ransom.
Thank you, Chair. Basically, I would agree with trustees Zanetti that board chair's responsibility is to manage that meeting, and I think it's perfectly in their purview to shut down the meeting if necessary, if there's any issues that are of concern, and we're not supporting this.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other comments or questions before we call the question? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion is defeated. Does that mean, do we read the second motion or did? No, okay. It's not necessary. Okay, thank you, everyone. Yeah, thanks for bringing it forward, ma'am. Yeah, I mean, BCSDA recommended it. We went through the process. That's what we do. Thank you very much. Hey, 11.6, Healthy School Manager Update with Healthy Schools Manager Nesbitt. Where are you? There you are.
You want me to stand up?
I want to.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Can you sing for us?
All right.
Although I did really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I'm really thankful to be here and highlight some of the work that's been happening. And I just also want to talk about how appreciative I am about how collaborative this role feels. And, a lot of these programs that I'm going to talk about don't happen in isolation. I work alongside school staff, community partners, students, families, volunteers, district departments, and they all contribute to what's happening, and it's wonderful. So we're going to start off chatting about After School Sports and Arts Initiative, or otherwise known as ASSI, which offers free after-school sports, arts, and cultural programming to students in kindergarten to grade 8. These programs are designed to be inclusive, skill building, and barrier reducing, especially for students who may face challenges accessing extracurricular activities. So we in part work with the Elementary School Sports Council and community organizations to include as many students as possible. So the funding is specific to Port Alberni, but through events like jamborees and other things like that, we can include students across the district. We've continued to see strong student participation this year, and we have about 440 students that have participated so far, which is up from the amount at the mid-year report last year. We've also had students join us from outside the district, including Moctessie School in Howsett, as well as John Paul and École des Grands Cedres, participating specifically in jamborees. Some examples of the activities that happen include like basketball, volleyball, rugby, Dungeons and Dragons, a film club, choir, gardening, art, Newsies, musical theater, and more. And I want to highlight, I was going to also highlight the Newsies, but I didn't realize they were going to be here. I probably should have looked into that. But the Dungeons and Dragons Jamboree that happened at ADSS in April brought together students, staff, community volunteers, and members of the ADSS Dungeons and Dragons Club who are students. And these students played a key role in helping lead and support the event. It created opportunities for creativity, teamwork, belonging, and also there was a lot of grade 7 students there, which helped build familiarity with ADSS and start with the transition to grade 8. It was such a great experience to participate in. My children were there. There's not a club at their school, but they were invited. I had community friends that were helping participate. It's really one of those like, oh my gosh, this is a great thing. And there's exciting things to look forward to next year. I want to also next chat about the Teach Us Wellness Center at ADSS. So at the Wellness Center, we've continued to maintain strong partnerships with community organizations and service providers to provide support to student well-being at ADSS. Today, there was a wellness fair up at ADSS. I think that some of you were able to make it up there, and there was 14 community partners that attended that event. And in part, it was designed to highlight what we have going on in our community. And really, this time of year was important. It's May is Mental Health Month, but also we can connect students with organizations before school adjourns for the summer. So they have those supports that are there. And we've also been focusing this year a lot on creating welcoming spaces, especially after school or during lunch hour, where students can build connection and belonging. So some of these activities include a henna club, the Ripple Effect group, knitting and crochet club, tutor and tune study club. There's been some fitness activities and opportunities to connect at lunch, where the Ripple Club organizes board games and card games for students at lunch hour, like I said. I also want to talk about the Ripple Club a little bit more. So Ripple is a peer support and leadership group that volunteers at school and community events at students, and they help support wellness initiatives throughout the school. It was created last year after students received GRASP training through VI Crisis Society, and GRASP is like a peer support and resilience training. We offered that again this year, so more students joined the Ripple Club. And one student recently shared that being part of Ripple helped them stay connected to the school, and they credited their participation in the group to receiving a scholarship to attend North Island College. So again, another really great feel-good moment. I also want to highlight the knitting club. So there are some community volunteers who come together weekly to meet with the students, and they use donated supplies. They gather in like a nice cozy space at the school, and they help teach the students knitting and crochet. And it's been, again, really a great thing to watch this intergenerational learning and sharing and community building. One of my favorite stories was a student found a sweater pattern, and one of the volunteers had made this sweater pattern decades ago herself as a teenager. So now they're working on that pattern together to make a sweater. Next, I want to talk about the school meal program. So the school meal program continues to grow. We've continued our partnership with Nourish Cowichan, the Wickaninnish PAC, and Banfield Community School Association to provide meals and food support across the district. All students have access to food support at school and participation, and they've been invited to like participate in the lunch program if they want. In Fort LaBernie, average daily lunch participation has increased by approximately 11% this year. So overall through the district, lunch participation sits around 21%, but because of fluctuating enrollment and things, we've seen an 11% increase in portal burning. We've upgraded cold storage. Last year, we received a food infrastructure program grant and upgraded cold storage across the district, which has improved food safety, storage capacity, and program sustainability. And as part of that, we introduced community snack fridges at 8th Avenue Learning Center and ADSS. So you may have seen them if you've been in the schools. It's fridges in the hallways. There's fridges so you can see what's in there. And it's a low barrier way for students and even staff to access food throughout the day. Previously in these two locations, there was, well, it kind of looked a little bit different, but at ADSS, for example, if you needed something extra during class, sometimes there was food in your classroom or you'd go to the office, but we really kind of wanted to like switch to the community fridge model. And they've been doing that across the province and kind of implementing it. And there's been great success reported as I meet with my colleagues. We've also expanded the ADSS, or I guess expanded the ADSS breakfast program, and there's now scratch-made menu items that are being prepared at the Nourish Kitchen at EJ Dunn and then sent to ADSS that are shared during breakfast time. Twice this year, so on September 29th and, well, this school year, and April 24th, we've gotten together representatives from all of our food contractors, the Pacific Rim School Foodies, as we call ourselves. And we've learned together on pro days and kind of connected and made food together. And it's been a great shared learning experience so that these partners aren't just like kind of operating in silos. Sometimes it's as simple as like, hey, like, can you share your recipe about this? Or I may need some help with coverage on this thing. And so it's been really great, especially for our particularly rural schools. We also received grant funding to support Central North Island Coordinated Procurement Initiative. So I'm working in partnership with some other districts to kind of build that and learn more about how we can focus more on purchasing locally, prioritize that, and also like unlock some savings for our districts and other districts with like bulk purchasing and distribution. And then with that collaboration, I've also been meeting with like provincial partners and planning and researching, I guess, and kind of hearing more about like what's going on across, especially the country and the province when it comes to school meal programs, because there's so much evolving with that and really working to kind of learn more about how we can make things sustainable long term. And lastly, I want to kind of briefly mention a few broader Healthy Schools initiatives. So the first one being improvements, or I guess updates to emergency preparedness. So if you want more information on the district's emergency preparedness, that's in AP 7000, which is emergency disaster procedures. So with the help of the operations department and school staff, emergency food and water supplies across the district were upgraded, include at all schools, as well as Maybell, the board office, and the bus garage. There are now ration bars and water, both of which have a 5-year shelf life if stored correctly at all sites. Previously, most sites were using granola bars and water bottles as their emergency supplies. But this shift from that model to the long-term ration model is anticipated to help alleviate workload for staff because things don't have to be rotated out as often, and is projected to save the district $30,000 over the next 5 years, which is great. And thank you. And the nice thing too is when these rations approach their expiry dates, the company that we've purchased them from, if we would like, will come and get them and then distribute them throughout like the Victoria capital area to food banks and other services that provide food to the community. Yeah. I'm also in discussion with a few other people about alternative options for that, but like they will not go to waste essentially when they're done.
Great.
Yeah, and then last point, similar to the ADSS Wellness Fair, myself in partnership with Island Health and community partners, we hosted the Healthy Schools Caravan again this year. So there was one in the fall at John Howitt and then one just recently at McQuina. So this rotating event visits 2 elementary schools per year and brings together community organizations and service providers to help students learn about local supports and resources in fun, interactive ways. So there's fun activities, the students come in and learn things and then go home and share with their family about what they learned. And there's also chances for staff to connect with the providers as well, so they can help link families up. All that. Again, I'm just really thankful to be here. I appreciate the collaborative nature of this work, and I'm really glad to be working with the district and helping support students and make things better. So that's it for me, and I'm open to questions if there are any.
Thank you very much. That was a very big update. Lots of stuff
Very
going on.
narrowed down. I had to edit it.
Great. Comments or questions? Yes, trustee Craig.
Thank you. Comment and question. Thank you for a wonderful day today. It was really spectacular. Spoke to most of the presenters that were there, and they really had a lot of good interaction with kids, and wonderful to have a jazz band playing through the whole thing. I mean, it really was special. So what kind of new scratch made menu is for breakfast at ADSS?
Thank you. We have the Nourish waffle, which is a waffle that contains very wholesome ingredients like oat flour, flaxseed, pumpkin puree, and apple. That is so delicious that you don't even need syrup. And those are available, I believe, on Waffle Wednesday. And on Muffin Monday, there is a baked good. It's generally a muffin, but sometimes there's things like scones. There's boiled eggs that are sent out, and any food that's left over at breakfast that has been taken out is put into those community snack fridges that I mentioned for students to access when they need it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Just amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Zanetti.
Thank you. Through the chair to this will manager. Yes, that's good. I was just going to make sure to bring to of all this stuff. I am part of I volunteer at the ADSS Breakfast Club, so yes, Pam. The new scratch things are very popular. I do Mondays on Muffin Monday. And we do sometimes have two types of muffins, and the students seem to love it. It's been fun. I engage, with the students, and what do we have today? And so-and-so doesn't like this, so she doesn't. That student chooses not to do that, and we do take the left of it. The boiled eggs are surprisingly popular. So they're from, I think, Thursday or another day, and we bring them out on Monday and they go. So yeah, the food is great. And yes, my favorite is the waffles, which occasionally there's one left and I take one home. It's okay. Yeah. And I've shared, I tell the teachers, feel like you gotta try this. So yeah, it's fabulous. Sorry, I digress. So yes, the food is great, fun, and it's community. And wanted to commend you on the foodie Facebook. I enjoy those. Wanted to ask specifically the snack fridges. I'm hearing good things. Has there been any ways like misuse of the food, or like, unbecoming behavior, throwing food around or whatever like that? So I wanted to know that. And I'll keep going. I'll load you up with questions.
Sure.
And then the vending machines. Now we've got the healthy snacks and stuff, which is just great. We've got an expansion on the vending machines at ADSS. And, I know there's rules about what kind of food you put in there, but it's my opinion. It's still junk food, or a lot of it is, and it's a lot of plastic waste, again, in my opinion. So is there any, I don't know if you speak with ADSS, but I think that's their program, but is there any intention to reduce the availability of expensive junk food at the school? Because we have this great snack fridge.
Okay, thank you. Through the chair. So the snack fridges themselves are positioned in a way that they can be monitored by staff and by cameras at ADSS. And when we started implementing it, I meet with admin at ADSS about this. We just kind of discussed, if we see anything happening, we'll address it, but we recognize that everyone's in a different place with their food journey. And so there may be some things that look like misuse, but aren't. But if there's things that are very blatantly a boiled egg being flushed on the toilet to create a problem or whatever, that of course there's some correction that needs to happen there. But no, overall, there's been a few minor incidents, but very well managed by ADSS staff and very appreciated by students. And to be honest, the food is, eaten up so quickly that there's not really an opportunity for things to be used incorrectly either. Speaking to the vending machines, I'm not going to comment on it a lot because it is an ADSS admin area, but there is, the food role is about choice, and that's really about like building eating competence. And so having both, I mean, students at ADSS are allowed to leave and go where they want to go to get food. And so whether they're accessing food from the snack fridge or the vending machine or food they brought from home or something in the community, that's up to them. And having the vending machines is not contrary to the upgraded BC School Food Toolkit, which has replaced the food and beverage guidelines that previously were used by the province to inform decisions around food in schools. So that's the thought process there.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. How's the Ucluelet food program going?
Thank you. Yeah. So the Ucluelet program has been evolving. And I feel like we're in a place where things are getting strengthened out there. As we're all familiar with, there's challenges with staffing in rural areas. And so that was a bit of a concern to start out with, but we have a great staff member out there who's part of the parish contract. And she works closely with myself and staff here in Port Alberni to build the menu and implement the menu. And looking forward into next year, we've received a lot of good feedback from her and school. And so we're going to hopefully improve some systems to make things run even more smoothly out there. But I think overall, the food program in Ucluelet is trending in a very positive direction. And I'm really excited about the great potential that there is out there for that. And part of the benefit of having these collaborative group foodies meetings is, staff from Tofino, for example, and Ucluelet could kind of connect a little bit more and really, because the program out in Tofino has been there for so long, and really learn from that. So yeah.
Thank you. I was going to say, I haven't heard anything this year about it. So I was like, must be going well.
Yeah. I would say it's going great.
Yeah. Thank you very much. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I do.
I just wanted to make comment that although we don't have some of these things that are happening on our operational plan, this is sort of the point, is that lots of amazing things happening in the district that aren't necessarily laser focused, but just what Kirsten has achieved in the last couple of years and the expansion. I mean, tearing your hair out just dealing with lunch programs when you started to this amazing reporting labs and things going on that supports our kids, not just with the literacy and numeracy, but supports literacy and numeracy in other ways and achievement in other ways. It's phenomenal. I just thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. Great job.
Thank you.
Second that.
No. Oh, that's you, remember? You're the number. Okay, moving on. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, 11.7 Indigenous Student Voice Event, Manager of Indigenous Language and Culture.
Oh. PowerPoint. Well, Uklama, Yoxim Ux, Mama, MT, Michelle Coline, Ni Yalek, the Shock Suma, Istakshakwa, Suma Us, Bohukwa, Obyaksu Val, Bohukwa, Notyaksu, Boyd Gallic. Thanks for letting me, introduce myself in our language time and time again. I hope you guys don't mind, but that repetition is such a powerful way of learning. So I take the opportunity when I get to. Thanks for having me here today. I have an update on our recent Indigenous Student Voice update that happened April 29th at the Hoopachesed House Gathering. We had a wonderful day there with many students. And do you mind if I just say next slide? Please do. Yeah, okay. So this year's event, we were able to double the amount of students participating. And I guess like before I forget, it was a real team effort putting on this event. There was last minute, changes and people unavailable to join. So we really called on our team and had a lot of support from our cultural and language worker, Shelley Frank, and James was a big help, and glad Peter was there, and trustee Zanetti was there, helping hands as well. So it was really great teamwork event. But yeah, we had about 45 secondary students attend from ADSS, from Banfield Community School, from Ucluelet Secondary School, from 8th Avenue Learning Center. And looking back at the feedback from last year's event that was put on, some goals that were outlined for this year's event included having hands-on learning take place, incorporating traditional foods at this event, having more elders present, more singing and drumming, a theme around positive mental health, and also having positive male role models there. And I'm happy to say I think we met all these goals quite successfully. So the day began with a traditional welcome from our ADSS leadership students from Hupechesit and Sashot. Peter offered a few words encouraging students to use their voice and share their insights with us that day. And he also shared a bit of background information on the work that Jamie Hansen had done around this that led to this opportunity. And I think that was a really nice way to honor the work that she's put into this. We had special guests from Wood Elementary. So Mrs. West's kindergarten class was bussed over and helped lead the Nashuk Akwin song. And my hot flash May got to be a part of that too. It was really special. And I think this was just a really wonderful way to bring multi-generations together. We had a lot of our elders there, I think the little kindergartners there, and our secondary students all together. Was really great. We had a keynote speaker from Hupechesit, Jared Dick, who is a fisheries biologist with UASHLUK. It's the Tribal Council's fisheries department. He had a chance to speak about his education journey, as well as, the importance of Indigenous representation and perspective in the education world. And later on, before lunch, he had the chance to lead the Hupechesit dinner song. So having the kids see him, kind of showcase his education journey and inspire them that way. And then he was also leading the supper song. And so they got to see him in both lights. And I think that was really great. And Hupechesit member Joan Dick catered our event. And so she had lots of traditional foods to offer, some chowders and sandwiches, and it's great. So the day, we had different cultural, hands-on stations the students could bounce around to, and at the sound of a drum, we invited them to try a different station, or if they felt good where they were, they could just stay put and indulge in that cultural activity. At each station, we had a district staff person to encourage discussion and take notes on the feedback the students had for the district. This station was the art, craft and discussion table, which was really popular. We had students there for quite a while working on their art pieces. In the kitchen, we had traditional foods happening and cooking up. We had pui, which is halibut, and suha, salmon. We had Angie Miller there helping with bannock making. We had se'ahmu, or herring eggs, being cooked. So those foods were kind of being brought out throughout the day and offered as snacks. And some comments we heard from some of the students was that this was the first time they had a chance to cook pui or halibut. And that may seem surprising to some, but it was great to hear that they enjoyed learning those skills and getting to share in discussion. The next slide. This station was led by Tatus Aksa. Deb Masso is one of our elders on our elder councils with the West Coast. And this is a subject near and dear to her heart. And it's all around, grounding ourselves and learning cultural ways to reset our nervous system and incorporate nature in that learning. So she talked about modern ways of what Usimsh might look for students in the day-to-day. And so we had some ice cubes there, and there was some hands-on feeling of the cold ice. We had a lot of good feedback on that station. Had cedar weaving with Elder Kathy Edgar. She's from DT-DOT, and some of the students got to make headbands, and again, share in discussion. And we had some staff there to kind of take note of what was discussed. We also had representation from our Métis elders that are on our elder council. Ken Addy and Florette Borsboom were there to share Métis wellness resources and creations. And the kids got to explore some of the products and things that they brought. So essentially what we heard, I'll share a little bit about the questions that we had posed to the students at these stations. We asked around like, what helps you feel successful? What gets in the way of success for you? What can we do to increase the sense of belonging in our schools? What changes would you like to see in your school? What ways do you feel supported by district staff, and how can we increase this sense? A summary of what we've heard. Flexible student-centered learning environments. Students repeatedly ask for more control over how they learn. There's an interest in alternative structures, longer blocks, maybe fewer classes, mixed grades, feeling that the traditional schedules can be a bit rushed and rigid. There was a lot talked about land-based, experiential, and culturally relevant learning. This was one of the most consistent themes. There were requests for more outdoor learning, so walks and hikes, more hands-on experiences, cooking, gardening, weaving, food prep, some of those life skills, more cultural learning, incorporating dancing and traditional practices into the schools. They emphasize that this type of learning, help them feel proud and connected and more successful. There was also points around relationships and belonging and school climate, and students clearly cared deeply about how they are treated and where they feel they belong. There were concerns about teachers showing favoritism, maybe not feeling welcomed in certain spaces, and requests for kinder, more understanding among the teachers and more one-on-one check-ins, support for students who struggle to advocate for themselves. And again, that tied into mental health and well-being and regulation supports. A desire for more breaks, slower starts to the day, calm, quiet, safe spaces, and requests for flexible expectations and more supportive responses to stress and anxiety. But there were lots that we can celebrate where the district is going in a good direction. Again, tying back to the impact of land-based learning, students repeatedly described the land-based learning opportunities as engaging, emotionally safer, motivating, and a place, again, where they could feel capable and proud. Students felt connected to cultural learning opportunities that they're currently being offered. Students described these experiences as calming and refreshing, meaningful, identity affirming. There's some positive input around caring adults and trusted relationships, and students were quick to name them and where their safe places were in the schools. Some examples: Mary Ann's room in the high school, the elders' rooms, the ISWs at ADSS, Bonnie, Deborah, and Jeff, Sarah Williams, Lisa Tremblay at 8th Avenue, Miss Nickel, and I just thought it was important to share with those students, the positives that the students said. It's demonstrates that trusted adult relationships are happening and there are relational support systems that are working. Schools are creating spaces where students feel welcome and supported. There's like a free store, art and pottery sections, gardens, scholarship support, online course access, cooking programs, and quiet spaces. These are all things that the students feel are working for them. And I guess in summary, the student voice, I think, was really successful. There was evidence around this that students wrote extensive, detailed responses. Students engaged emotionally and culturally throughout the day. The students participated in the hands-on stations, and they shared vulnerable and thoughtful insights with us. Students asked if the event happens often. And I guess to close, I just want to say an ushak shukla to you and this board for being in support of this kind of work. I think when we can bring our Indigenous students together, share traditional foods, spend time with our elders and positive role models, it indicates we're moving in the right direction. And it was a great day. Huge.
Thanks, Michelle. Comments or questions for Michelle? Yes, Trustee Bray and then Craig.
Thank you. That was incredible. Thank you for the work that you have done with this. How often do we do it? Because I would love to attend one time if we do it again next year. If I am so lucky to be in this room. I can't wait until our Indigenous students can get credit for culture. And that right there just kind of affirms for me to keep advocating for that. And I know it's in our future. But anyway, when is the next one? And
through the chair. So we're hoping to make this an annual event. Last year was the first one, and this was the second one. And yeah, building on the successes and learning learning what works to put on this event and get valuable input from the students and,
Yes.
and then incorporate that into our work plans and strategic plans, hopefully annually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. If we can do anything to help support that, then let us know, and thank you for all you do for our students.
Thank you, Trustee Craig, and then as Nahai.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle. That was an amazing presentation as well. And I can see that it has evolved tenfold from last year. The kids all obviously feel more comfortable and more willing to engage. And that is a tremendous win. Because they were, I mean, last year was great as well, but I can see that the increase is just tenfold this year with many more activities and many more students attending. So yes, it's on our radar for sure. We will certainly be able to come along the next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Craig. Asma Nahai, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm Asma Nahai. I'm from Tokwat Nation. It just makes my heart and spirit so happy to see the evolution of Indigenous activities happening in School District 70. I grew up there. I went to Alberni Elementary, A.W. Neil, and ADSS. But to hear all of the different things that you've done makes me think about when I was a teenager and thinking I wanted this so badly, was that connection, not just to cultural activities, not just to meeting up with friends, but this community connection, especially meeting up with cultural leaders and meeting up with others within the community. And I just wanted to raise my hands and just say thank you for all the work that you've done. It's amazing.
Thank you. Wow. Oh, yes, Trustee Zanetti.
Thank you, the chair. Manager Coleman. Thank you for inviting the trustees. Really appreciate we can come to these events. It's great. Appreciate all the people that presented those, like Edgar. I got to chat with them and it was lovely, and they really enjoyed the opportunity to engage with the students as well. And we're happy to have the students share with them and share their knowledge. And she was telling me, I always learn stuff. So thank you for letting us come, and good job to all the staff for attending and gathering information. I saw Assistant Superintendent Messenger deeply engaged with the students as well. And your feedback. Yeah, there was a lot of, yeah, it was, and I got to try. It was also, hang on, I wrote down. See you, come, no, see you. No, I'm close, but I'm not there. I got to try it, and it's the herring roll that was cooked. This was boiled, I think it is. They also call it Indian poplar or something they called it. Oh my gosh. So that was wild for me, but I went for it because I'm not extremely food explorative. But yeah, that was wild. It's like popcorn in your mouth. Now I know, I understood why they called it popcorn. So yeah, thank you for letting us attend and letting me have that opportunity to learn more culture as well.
Thanks, you Trustee Zanetti. Superintendent Claver.
I will go back to thanking Jamie, although she's not with us, to starting this initiative. And of course, Jamie left, how she pre-planned it. Really thank Michelle for stepping in and leading this. And it wasn't always easy, and it wasn't a straight line. I know that, but you did an amazing job and pulled it off. It's incredible to have all 4 of our secondary schools represented at once in one place, and just making that organization happen. I know you had help, but you were the person who led it, and I really appreciate that. And just how incredible it is to see us continuing to break down that barrier between culture and language and education. That it just forms part of what we do all the time. And so I just echo that it was amazing. Thank you so much, and the kids really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it too.
Thank you very much.
If I could share a big thanks to the schools to having their staff being willing to get the kids to the event. And there was like early mornings. We leaned on Huayet for transporting the students from the Banfield Community School. And yeah, everyone really came together. Got students there. It's great.
Thank you very much. Okay, I just would like to mention we have 6 minutes left and we just have a few more things to get through. So I just hoping we can get through them. So just to be conscious of time. So moving down to 12.1, policies for adoption. I am going to go to Trustee Zanetti.
Chair. So we have 12.1 policy for adoption, as you said. I just wanted to review one of them, 610 inclusive education program has some feedback. So this is our opportunity also to discuss that feedback. I don't know if there's any comments on that feedback that we want to discuss now, because otherwise, yeah, before we actually adopt it, I believe that's the process.
Right. Yeah, it is. Is there any comments or questions on the feedback that we got from ADTU?
So, okay.
Yeah,
I'll let you
fair
comment.
enough. Yeah.
So from what I understood, from the feedback letter that we have is that, the wording is in mind, is different. And the ministerial order wording is included in this letter or document. And, I don't have a change of, like, I don't know if staff has any argument with changing it to that, to reflect the ministerial order specifically. I mean, I can see where there might be some nuanced differences, and if staff wanted to comment on that, that would be helpful to me.
Does staff?
Really wish Michelle was still with us to comment on this.
Oh, yes.
She said she got to leave it out.
Okay. That's unfortunately, oh, but that's okay. Okay, well,
Should we delay this then?
I would be in motion, yes, I would be in favor if we want to delay this. It seems like there are some strong opinions, so, can we delay the 6:11?
Yeah, we'll move it to the next.
Oh, sorry, 6:10,
We'll move to the next in camera. Is that what we mean by delay, just so I understand?
correct, okay.
Okay, so then we will, stick with the other two.
Sorry, the next, public.
Public, did I say in camera? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I just public, yeah. Or, no, it is public.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, because we could also discuss it at the policy committee, because that will be happening before the public. And then,
Sure, we can bring it back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring it back there.
and
Yeah.
then it'll come back here naturally, if that's where.
Is the board okay with that? If we bring it back to policy for discussion? Great.
Makes more sense. Yeah, because that's the venue.
Okay.
Great, thank you. And so we'll just go through the other two. So here's the wording here. That the Board of Education adopt the following policies as presented. One is the employee performance assessment, non-teaching staff policy. And then 2 is the 611 learning enrichment gifted program. There you go, those two.
So thank you. Any comments or questions on those two policies? All those in favor? Motion's passed. Thank you very much. And then we'll bring 610 back to policy, which is happening at policy committee. Thank you very much. 12.2, there's no policies out for public consultation or going out for public consultation. There's no notice of motion. And so 14.1 correspondence, this is an action required. There is a motion attached to this. I guess I can speak to it. I got contacted by the District of Tofino. They're looking to apply because, you know, FIFA, a grant to have covered. So the District of Tofino would like to apply for a grant to get a covered soccer something field. And so this motion, it just allows them to engage with the staff at the school district in exploring maybe options. That's all this is, just to for land area. Yes.
I would like to move that the Board of Education direct staff through the superintendent to engage with District of Tofino staff regarding the May 2026 mini pitch grant funding process.
Thank you. Thank you. Any comments or questions? Trustees Minetti?
This all seems a little confusing to me. I'm not sure why it didn't go there or why it's come here. I don't clearly. I think this is staff stuff. So yes, I think that should go back to staff, but is there anything that I'm missing that I don't understand why it came here?
Because it's a tight timeline, because what the funding just came out and then FIFA's starting. So the timeline is extremely tight. It's very short. So it's okay. So then before they actually engage with staff, I feel like it needs to be through a formal motion that we are allowing staff to engage with the District of Tofino to explore the grant. Yes, Superintendent Greiber.
Thank you. Just this will be over to Director Taylor, because this is our property they're asking for. The time is tight. And just the issue of maintenance of any improvements that we make to the property is really going to be Director Taylor's. So I'm glad you're here, so I can, without having to email you tonight, I can say, if you could give Ben a call this week, and just a tight timeline, but essentially what we're saying is that, you know, if staff doesn't see any problems, we'll probably proceed with partnering with that grant application and come back to you and say what that means as far as. I'm concerned about if we're asking for expansion to the school, if that's an area that would be potentially impacted, or parking or something like that. So one, can we afford to give up the land? And two, who's going to maintain the project once it's built? Two areas, but if they're willing to enter an MOU,
Yeah.
to maintain it, and we can improve something on our school sites for benefit our kids, then we should proceed.
Especially covered area, right? No covered area. Okay, so any further comments or questions on that? All those in favor? Thank you, motion is passed. Okay, 601, okay. For correspondence for information, any comments or questions on the ACRD OCP bylaw referral? Comments, questions on that? Did staff have any comments on that? No. Okay. Thank you. The external board committees, traffic advisory and heritage commission minutes are attached. Internal board committees, our policy committee meeting, our finance meeting minutes, and our education meeting minutes are on there for everyone's read. And, And number 18, I'm going to go to questions from our lovely audience. Question? Nope. Okay, well, it's the next regular meeting of the Board of Education on June 23rd, 2026 at 4 p.m. at the administration, office boardroom. Adjourned at 6:02.
Right on time.
Exactly, Janice.